I'm white. Everything about me is different from an African American. My hair isn't nappy. I don't have black people ears because they're really giant.
I'm tired of being labeled. I'm an American. I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
Oh, girl, don't set up the Twitter on fire.
Amazing viewer, I'm glad you're watching. Thank you for being here. Today we'll be looking at these viral TikTok videos where this young girl was claiming to be white, and she tried to explain that her hair doesn't look black, and she's, even from the way she looks, she's just white, and she wanted people to be convinced she has white hair and everything. So I find this video so fit for us to look at, as we are also looking at the colorism in the black community, especially prominent in the US.
So we can't just say it's just a black on black thing. Right, and we have to acknowledge that when lighter girls are speaking on colorism, it's not the same thing as racism. It's two different things. If we're going to speak about racism, we could all sit down and speak on it. But
people have been robbed, as I said earlier, of a knowledge of self. And when you rob people, sir, of a knowledge of self, then it means that they start to take on the characteristics and the nature of their oppressor and their colonizer. And his mind, by automatic, systematic, remote control, rules in our people.
And I realized when I was speaking to one of my lighter skinned, colleagues afterwards, and we're just talking about the interview process, I had to do 10 interviews in order to get this job. And this is me working in corporate America after having not only a bachelor's degree, an Ivy League degree as well, and a master's in business. And then I still had 10 interviews while she said she had 3. Not only that, I then realized when she told me her pay and my pay, there was a gap. And
history of colorism at HBCUs.
Of issues. When I applied to Fisk University, you had to have a photograph. And for the most part, Fisk, Howard, and other schools, the lighter you were, the more likely you were to get into those schools.
All black schools.
All black schools, yes. And those were the private schools. The public schools, you didn't have to submit a picture because it was assumed that the public school would have to let all black children, all black students in regardless of the color of their skin. But again, the lighter the child, the more likely they were to even to get into the state-supported schools as well. It's just that no picture was required. But there were some issues there. So this was the color consciousness issue inside
the paper bag, the brown paper bag,
the brown paper bag test.
This is a black foundation.
Did you know there was a time in history when black people used to use a paper bag to see if your skin was white enough?
I'm going to talk about the brown paper bag test, and I'm going to link it to present day affairs. So the brown paper bag test was a discriminatory practice in America where an individual's skin tone would be compared to that of a brown paper bag. If they were able to be lighter or the same colour of that brown paper bag, they passed. If they were darker, they did not pass. So, what did passing mean? Passing meant opportunities. It meant admission into universities. It meant getting a job. It was the difference between success and failure in America. This practice can be traced back to slavery, where the lighter skinned slaves were kept inside and the darker skinned slaves kept outside. And the preference for lighter skin is intrinsically linked to the preference for whiteness. And for one to have lighter skin makes them closer to whiteness because a lot of the time lighter skin is created by the mixing of races. For people who are lighter skinned are more likely to be biracial. And if they are not biracial, they look biracial, which means they are closer to whiteness.
Bad things in this country, it was linked to slavery and white people. Back in the day, slave owners would give preferential treatment to those who had lighter skin. People with dark skin would most likely be working out in the fields, and people with lighter skin would be working in the house, or house servants, or house slaves. And this idea is perpetuated today. The darker you are, the worse you may be treated, the dumber you may be, all those bad stereotypes. And lighter skinned people, okay, maybe they're a little closer to being white, they might be a little bit more accepted in society. All of it's terrible, really. One thing you might be asking yourself back then, if there's all these slaves brought over from Africa and other areas, how are there that big of a difference in skin tone? Well, first and foremost, people's skin color can just be different. That's just genetics, that's just how it works. But also, unfortunately, a lot of slave owners would the black slaves, and then their children would then become slaves.
In the 1900s, black women were dehumanized not only as economic and reproductive property, but also as a disposable sexual commodity. They were forced to provide white men with a sexual outlet that in turn allowed them to protect the purity of their white wives. Doing so both hypersexualized and defeminized them because it made the white woman virtuous and pure and the enslaved woman lustful and vicious. Enslaved societies also had a deep division of labor between enslaved and white women. Enslaved women were expected expected to show strength and stamina in the fields, while white women ideally did little or no outdoors work. In the antebellum South, for example, black women, who were thought to be subhuman by their white masters, were not protected from violence. They were seen as beasts in the fields who did not need their bodies and virtue protected, while white women were seen as true women based on their roles in the home and their traits of innocence and weakness. But enslaved black women never got the chance to display the traits attributed to white women because they were always in the public sphere of work and never allowed in the private sphere of a home. Also, when punished, they were often forced to be naked, which contributed to their dehumanization and stripped away any of their femininity. On the flip side, white women were dressed head to toe, which ensured their nobility and womanhood. And so, black women were not treated like true women, aka white women. Instead, they were treated like black men. Consequently, the stereotypes that started to emerge surrounding black women, that they were sexually promiscuous and aggressive, were used to justify the atrocities committed against them. But how does all of that tie into today?
If you're mixed with black, you're black. If you're mixed with black, you are black. I pay zero attention to anyone who gets on my page and insists anything other than that. If other people that are mixed who can pass for white choose to do that, that's on them. Because guess what? I can only control me. And anyone who chooses to project negativity on me because maybe other mixed people or other white passing people choose to ignore their blackness, that doesn't belong here.
Tell me someone is colorist without saying someone is colorist.
Okay. It's my turn. So if you don't know, I'm 100% Jamaican and I'm Afro-Jamaican. Like, I'm not mixed with anything. I'm 100% black. Blackly black, fluorescent black. I'm black, okay? Everybody in my family is around my skin tone, or a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, whatever. But I have this one aunt who came out like really light skinned, but she would still bleach her skin. And I don't know why she would bleach her skin. And also too, in Jamaica, bleaching your skin is a thing. Like, everybody bleaches their skin. And this aunt convinced a lot of people in my family to bleach their skin, like my mom, my cousins, whatever. So from the ages of 12 to 14, I had really bad skin. I had cystic acne and I had like horrible skin. I had spots all over my face and I was desperate to try anything to get rid of my acne. I was so desperate to get rid of my acne back then. Like, if you were to tell me to rub cat piss on my face to help me get rid of my acne, I probably would have done it. So one day my aunt came to me and she was like, you should try this product, which was bleaching cream. I was just like, why am I going to try this? And she was like, oh, try it because it's going to help get rid of your black spots and your acne. I promise you. As I said, I was desperate. I was like, okay, it's going to help me get rid of my black spots on my face and I'm going to look better. Then why not? So for the next couple of weeks, I started rubbing this product on my face and my skin got really light. And honestly, I look ridiculous because my face was really, really light skin and the rest of my body was dark skin. People were coming up to me asking me what's wrong with me. I look horrible. Am I sick? Okay, it was really bad. So this is what I looked like. It was really bad. And this is what I looked like before I started bleaching. So I told my parents, I'm going to stop bleaching because I don't like it. But around this time, my aunt ended up seeing me and my aunt was like, oh my God, you look amazing. She was like, you look so good. Your skin looks so light skinned and you look so good. She was just praising me. She was the only person praising me. It was so weird. She was telling me to put it on my neck and continue to use it. I'm like, girl, what? No, I look ridiculous.
Light skin privilege check. Put a finger down if someone has ever told you you weren't pretty because you were too dark within the black community. Put a finger down if you have ever heard yourself being dragged in hip-hop music. Put a finger down if in black media you saw yourself always and constantly being represented as the ghetto, ratchet, ugly friend. Put a finger down if you are also questioned on your femininity on a daily basis simply because of your shade. Put a finger down if people have told you you would be much prettier if you were lighter. I didn't put any of my fingers down because light skin privilege is very real within the black community.
That baby, colorism is real. And to act like it's not and not very fucking prevalent.
It's sad that at the age of like 6, 7, or 8, I just knew that being dark skinned was gonna be hard for me in life. It's hard everywhere, even in my own community. They hate us. When you look at music videos and you go on Instagram, what do you see? When you see celebrity men and athletes, who they be with? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the same answer, either light skin or white women. And I'm gonna say this last thing, man, I'm gonna let y'all go. I went on Facebook and they had this thread for Amaretta. She's a rapper, if you don't know. And she's kind of like, on the dark skin side. She's so beautiful. That's the caption. The caption was like, she's so beautiful, love her style and everything. I went to the comments and you don't see nothing but black men talk about her skin tone, how she might be a man. Like, they don't say that about them light skinned girls. They don't say that. Like, what is the hate towards us? Like, we're not black too. Like, it's really like racism in your own, community. We don't do nothing to y'all. We just be chilling.
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Also leave your thought in the comment section. Bye for now.